All right, guys. So here we are. We're going to be doing the video here. One of my recorded that I said that I'd probably be doing. So again, I'm doing these because these are some topics that are hard. They're not easy to deal with immediately in the same day sometimes. Due to the nature of the job. I hear a lot in a day, so it's sometimes too much to come home and just talk about it after I've talked to clients or whatever, or been dealing with it. So, one that I'm going to kind of start off with is depression, because I feel like depression is something that, in the last year and a half, 2 years, hello COVID, I feel like more and more people, sorry, I'm making a mess over here in my office. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I feel like more and more people have experienced depression in the last 2 years than probably we had ever thought would be capable in our lifetime. And I feel like the reason is because the world changed. It shut down. Everything around us changed. It's something that was hard. It still is hard. Like, there's still, so many people struggling with this today. The death, the dying, the, restrictions, the not getting out of our house, the everyday life change was very traumatic and sad for the last 2 years. And the way we shopped and the way we interacted with our family and our friends, all of it, just very, very hard. So I thought I would start out really with depression because it's something that we're seeing more and more of today. And it's one of those things that, to be honest, can be a silent killer because people don't understand the capacity that it takes over and takes a toll on their body. And so it becomes hard to function in day-to-day life depending on, the level of severity. So the actual, reason that we experience depression, okay, would be combination of things. It could be biological, it could be psychological, it could be social sources, it could be distress, it could be the brain function and just the way that things are working in our brains. We have to think about, just everything that can impact that and what can create that depression and how it becomes about. To define it would be basically the persistent feeling of sadness or loss of interest that characterizes major depression can lead to the range of behavioral and physical symptoms. Okay, so that's like your major depression right there, characterized and defined. So let's talk about what that means, because it can form and present in many, many ways. We have, just the mood, the overall mood, the behaviorals, our sleep pattern, the way we think, the way our body is acting or responding, the way we're eating, the way we're thinking. Just there's so many experiences that people could have. And for me to be able to diagnose somebody with depression, I'm just going to show you a day in a life here. This is what we use, a DSM-5, and there's requirements that have to be met for me to be able to diagnose somebody with depression. Also, there's different types of depression. There's depression recurrent, depression one time, not reoccurring, major depressive is one. Sad, which is like your seasonal depression. So there's a multitude of aspects or pieces to just what depression is. So I thought what I would do is just kind of generally go over what we see when we're looking at depression, what I've noticed, what I, have experienced. And it's honestly, it mirrors whether it's a teen, whether it's a child, whether it's an adult, the same symptoms show, So it doesn't really change just because of age. With my littles, more irritability is present, but again, I've had irritability in adults. Think about sadness, okay? One thing that I can just kind of give you an example of here is loss. Anytime that you lose something and it causes a situation of grief, there's those that can just be sad, process it, and go on. But then there's those times that we just cannot process it and go on. It's just continued day in and day out for several days, weeks, months, consistent all the time. And a lot of times anybody that is experiencing depression will have that sadness of some sort and honestly may not even know that that's what it is that they're experiencing. So when we think about that, some of the best resources for us is our friends, our family, the ones that we're around every day, the ones that see our behaviors. They see, what we're doing in day to day. They are the ones that normally are our best resources because you might not recognize these symptoms because you're living it. Anxiety, most of the time when you are experiencing depression, there's a lot of anxiety attached with it, and just discontent, and often there's guilt, feelings of guilt or hopelessness or helplessness or helpless, or you just lose all interest in what you were normally doing. Mood swings, that would be a lot of your mood component, okay? And you're probably going to be able to tell those somewhat, but again, if a friend comes up to you after several days of being around you, or a family or a spouse or a child or whatever, they probably are doing it out of kindness and care because they see this, and they're starting to see it every day over a course of 3 weeks or 2 weeks or whatever it may be. And then, on top of that, let's go into the behavioral. You have aggression, you have crying, you have the irritability that I talked about, the restlessness, or you just kind of socially isolate. You withdraw from everybody. Everybody that you're normally around, you just kind of withdraw from it. Maybe they're seeing those along with your mood. Or if it's your spouse, they might notice that your sleep pattern. You're, staying awake more than usual. You're, having insomnia because you can't sleep, because you can't stop thinking. And you might be not sleeping enough. You might be sleeping all day. You might be just not able to sleep comfortably, so you're restless. Then you have your whole body, your whole body change, your whole body symptoms would be like your fatigue. So there's people that I know that have slept for, hey, I just slept for 15 hours and I just do this every day and I'm still so tired. That could be, depending on the situation, a good idea that there's something more going on. Somebody that, has a sudden loss of appetite over a course of 3 weeks, 4 weeks, a month. Somebody that is all of a sudden just like binge eating, where it doesn't seem like they can get enough. That could be a good symptom that you're looking at or seeing. your body just is able to tell you so much. What about your thought process? Your thought process is big on this too. A lot of times you just have the inability to have any concentration. Concentration is pretty much nil and gone when you are, going through a depressive stage. Your thinking process is slow. What you do is slow. The way that you would normally, do things and think about things it's all just different. It's all changed. And then there's those times that you have those thoughts of harming yourself or suicide. When you start seeing that and that's present, it's pretty severe. So those are always your thought processes, your cognitive symptoms. And then you have again, this goes with body, but your weight. Some people will lose a massive amount of weight really quickly. And when I say massive, if you're losing 10 pounds in a week or 2 weeks, that's pretty massive, or because you've wanted to binge eat, you might have gained weight and it becomes a concern or, a questionable symptom. I think one that is big is your repeated thought process back with cognitive. A lot of times, let's take somebody that's feeling helpless, that thought process of just being like, I can't do enough to help them. I can't do anything to help them. I can't do anything to help them. That thought process is just, repeated and continues to be repeated. And it's just so hard on the body and the mind. And it does not help us in any way, shape, or form. So that right there is your symptoms of depression. Now, may it present a little bit different with everybody? Sure. And mightn't it be different from one time of having depression to the next time? Yes, it could. It doesn't always show its ugly face the same way. And if you're one of those people that have experienced depressions, more than likely you'll see it throughout your life again at some point. It will, put its little nasty head in there and you'll have to go through this, whole thing again. And with that being said, it's okay. We just have to be able to identify what it is, know that we need help if needing help, and reach out for the appropriate treatment, manifest in wanting to do okay and be safe with it and do better. So I think one of the things that gets me is, as of lately, okay, like I said, the last 2 years have just been really, really hard. COVID is just horrible. Depression naturally is just tenfold more. You see it more and more every day. And when I tell you, that's something that I went through myself, that depression. My whole life changed, guys. Somebody that was working, 10 to 15 hours a day, every day for years because just of my lifestyle, going to a shutdown mode, it was hard. And then on top of that, you get a letter from your doctor that says that if you're exposed, there's a possibility you could die. Tell me that doesn't throw some anxiety in there. And then, you hear everything about it. Like in the beginning, I remember not. Do you grocery shop or do you not? Do you go see your mom or do you not? Can you see friends and family or can you not? Like, everything that I did was questionable. Everything that was happening was questionable. People were dying. Like, innocent people were just dying. And it's, the scenes on TV were horrific. And I shut down and I was so depressed. It was bad. I gained, I think William and I figured the other day, 30 pounds over the course of 2 years. Maybe more. 40 pounds over the course of 2 years. My sleeping is way off. Prior to COVID, I was one that could go to bed at 9, 10 o'clock at night, and I could get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. It's torturous for me to do that, even today. I'm getting better, but it's still, my sleep pattern has been off so long that it's hard to regain some kind of normalcy. So I was experiencing the anxiety, wondering what the hell to do, when to do it. Do you grocery shop? Do you not? Do you go see your mom? Do you not? When are they going to have a vaccine? When are they going to have a vaccine? When are they going to do it? Well, I need, and then on top of that, I feel like my card of being I don't know, I worked and provided for my home and I helped as I could. And even that was pulled from me. I wasn't able to contribute like I once was. I had to depend on people often. And it was horrible. I felt like every part of me kind of died in the moment of, February 26th. I can tell you the exact date that all of this went down. And, hard. I said February. I think it was March, actually. It was March, but it was so hard. March 26th. It was so hard. For me, for others, it's one of those things where I know today how much I struggled, and I know how much that shook me and changed me. And I know that people are feeling that every day still, Depression doesn't just, happen because of COVID, but your health, if you get sick or something changes, that definitely can trigger your depression. Like I said, family history. If you have a history of depression in your family, guess what? Unfortunately, you're probably going to have some of that today. Also, you guys, medication can cause depression. How effed up is that? There's medications that, actually have depression as a side effect. And that's horrible, So, well, everything that I say doesn't mean that you have depression. Those are all great indication and symptoms of depression, that inability to get out of bed, that lack of desire to get out of bed, the lack of desire to do anything in life, sadness all day, every day, concentration, it's all a big one, and there's so much to it. And I think what I learned going into counseling is that it's okay. I've learned that as long as we're aware that we're having some symptoms, and as long as we have people that care about us and can tell us that we're showing some signs of, as long as we're okay, reaching out and getting support, or talking to our doctor, or as long as we're okay just letting it be what it is and not letting it be a bad thing, it's okay, the day my doctor diagnosed me with depression, me and my doctor have been buddies for a while, and I say buddies he's my best friend because he saved my life more than once. But they have you fill out this survey when you have the doctor. Have you been sad in the last few days? Have you done this in the last few days? Blah, blah, blah. There's all kinds of things. Have you fallen? Have you been clumsy? Have you done all the things, right? So, here I am, and I actually, he calls me because we have a telehealth visit set up, right? And so, He's like, "Hi, how are you, Diane?" And the only thing that I could do, you guys, is just bust down in tears. Like, I don't know that I've cried that hard ever in my life. Like, it was surreal. And my doctor just kind of, like, sat back in his chair, like, because it's kind of like I said in a video previously, a lot of times people don't expect people that are therapists or counselors to get into that mindset. And it's just a stigma, like they're like, "Oh, she's a counselor, life's perfect." But he clearly could see the pain that I'm feeling, the anxiety, the feelings that I have, and he can clearly see that I'm not okay. Like, I wasn't to the point of wanting to harm myself at all. Don't get me wrong. But he could just see for me that was not normal. Like, that wasn't a good spot for me. So, thank goodness I jumped into action, and I did start an antidepressant. And, I was one of those people that I really didn't want an antidepressant prior to that. I'd seen some things in life that had kind of scared me away, some side effects or something, of some older medications when I was younger. And was kind of one of those people who's like, man, don't really want to do that, But once getting into school, I realized that there is a variety of medication and there's a variety of help out there. And it doesn't matter if you're a more natural person or if you're one that can take the medication, whether you just want to try talk therapy or whether you want to try to combine them both. There is something out there for everybody if they want that help. And so, that is where I was at that moment. Like, I needed my doctor's help right then, And such a blessing he was, because he didn't judge me. I mean, he looked shocked, but he didn't judge me not once, So you have to be open to understanding that it is what it is. And, as dark as it feels in the moment, you have to realize that if you want something different, there is always things that you can try. There's always ways to work on improving your depression, You might be somebody that has severe depression and you don't ever get rid of depression, but you learn how to cope and to live and to be okay and comfortable with having depression, I've talked to men that became very depressed because, what is it? People have many very strong ideas of men should do this and women should do this, and this is how it is, right? Well, tell a man that he can't go to work, or let a man lose his job, or, let something throw a wrench in that working pattern. That man will probably fall into depression quicker than most people would think. Because that man card of caring for, being able to provide, that whole scenario is gone. Okay. So, I've talked to clients that have been able to get people that still approve of them. Just because whatever happened, it doesn't mean that you're bad. It's okay. Like, so there's those kind of people. And then you talk to people that have had to deal with a lot of death. And those people that are dealing with depression, there's even skill sets for them to help them. There's those that, those chronic, I grew up depressed because my whole life has been this way. It came from family. There's even ways to help these people try to process and to move forward and to not get up every day and say, well, I have depression, this sucks. Well, I have depression, this sucks. But instead to get up and say, man, I have depression and I'm working through it, There's a lot of people that are scared to have a diagnosis upon them And trust me, if depression's all I have to have, give it to me, baby. Give it to me. And I'm not saying that rudely. I'm saying it because I know I still have the chance to wake up every day, and I still get the chance to live every day to the fullest. And there's help out there, and there's, talk therapy, there's medication, there's podcast on every corner, there's Diane's on YouTube, there's always somebody that will be there. Okay, so I would gladly take depression, over something that's not as easily helped and treated. So the stigma is that anytime mental health was mentioned long ago, it was something completely different, it wasn't common, didn't talk about it, wasn't a thing. And we definitely didn't have it on TV. Are you depressed? We didn't see commercials like that growing up. But what I can tell you is that it's something that you would be surprised how many people actually go through, It's something that can, again, combination of many things can be helpful in the ability to work through depression, right? So you can go to LPC, just a therapist. You can go to your primary care doctor. You can go to a psychiatrist. You can go to the emergency room, to be honest. There's many ways that you can get help with this, okay? It's just one of those things that if you are feeling any of this and it's, gone on for days, for weeks, for months, get help. It's okay. It's not bad. And you would probably be surprised how many people, like if we could put everybody with depression into a circle, you'd probably be surprised how many people would be there. Like that circle would be huge. And I think that the reason I say that is not because I'm trying to say, yeah, it's just depressing. It's that you have such a network of people that are dealing with same sort of situations. And if you will only use your voice, and not even your voice, if you'll just show up and listen to the podcast or show up and hear something and listen to it very well, saying, it'll be okay. If you try to work on finding something in your life that gives you that desire to change, then, there's things out there for you that will help. If you are sitting there questioning right now going, again, there's different levels of depression. The level system all is determined, or the levels and, your symptoms, it's all determined and lets us be able to diagnose. I'm not going to give you the diagnosis, requirements, because you know what, if you're sitting there questioning yourself, you probably know. And if you're sitting there wondering what you can do, guys, pick up your self-help, okay? Like, everybody has a cell phone, it seems like, anymore. Seriously. If you're having issues with helplessness, feel helpless, Google help with feeling helpless. Or go to YouTube, help for feeling helpless. If you're feeling sad, the constant sadness, the crying, how to Google it. You've got the tool right there. Just utilize it. Make it what it is. And if you have a doctor, call your doctor. If you think that it's something that you might need or want to research more of. If you don't want to, if your doctor if you don't want medication, okay? Because I can't give medication out, right? But if you are wondering where to get started, if you call your doctor, they're going to give you resources. You're gonna get the tools that you need to start getting help with that. And they're probably some of your best resources, because normally they give you people that will be within network, so that they can help with that if need be. They give you people that they know and they trust. They provide you with information from people that they know will be probably a good fit for you, okay? Or the situation, So if you're one that's dealing with, anxiety. If they know a therapist that deals more with anxiety, they're going to probably reach you into that goal that way. So reach out to your doctor. They really can be great support. If you see that, you're to the point of, you have depression and where does it go from here? You guys, it might not be a quick miracle. I'm not saying it will be. I mean, here I am too. Well, I guess it was probably 6 months into COVID that I actually reached out and told my doctor, hey, I'm depressed. Or actually, he told me I was depressed because he saw me. But I still take my medication today. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with it. And if people say anything about it, I'm like, okay, whatever. I don't care, because it keeps me where I need to be. It helps me with my feelings, so they're not overpowering my body. Like, I can get through a full day and not cry, and I don't have as much, anxiety or fear or worry. I can be content, So yeah, I'm not saying that you're going to get a cure immediately, but I am saying that if you will reach out, feeling better happens sooner if you will go ahead and just start working on the process of getting that help, or maybe you don't need help, but your wife or your child or your best friend does. Don't be afraid to reach out to them. Don't be afraid to talk to them about it, Let them know that you're there for them, because the stigma is that, anybody with a mental illness or a mental health problem is bad, and it's not, y'all. It's not like that. So maybe if you're the one that's like, hey, listen, this is what I think, and I'll be glad to go with you, to offer to take them, do whatever you need to do to, reach out and be there for them, because God knows they need it, right? And if it's you and you don't have anybody, reach out. I will get you in the right direction for somebody local for you. Because anymore, all therapists offer generally a sliding scale, based on pay, if you don't have good insurance or whatever. Also, like, I'm in Oklahoma, and I know the state of Oklahoma, anybody that has our state insurance automatically gets coverage for mental health generally, especially right now, so that availability is there. If you're worried about going to see the right person, let me also forecast and tell you this. If you have to see 2 therapists before you're comfortable with the third, it's okay. Because like, my doctor might not, and he might suggest somebody, but that suggestion might not fit. Okay. So I might go do my intake and be like, don't really feel so comfortable, now you're probably not going to feel comfortable anyways, because, that's new. But your body will tell you if it's just way off, so listen to that. So, I am just going to read this off of the psychiatry.org. What's the simple definition of depression? Okay. Depression, major depression disorder, is a common and serious medical illness that negatively affects how you feel, the way you think, and the way you act. Okay? So, the way you feel, think, and act. Fortunately, however, it is treatable. Again, depression is treatable. Depression causes feelings of sadness and or loss of interest in activities that you enjoyed. So when things start taking over you and you lose who you are, again, treatable is the big thing with that. It's treatable, guys. If you're going through medical concerns, or you maybe you're having a mom that's sick and in the hospital, or you're in the hospital, or just whatever. Depression can rear itself up like any time, Don't be afraid to reach out to somebody, because the person that gets better is the person who reaches out, the one that wants to ask and get that help. And it's not going to be easy necessarily. It might not be easy at all, but it'll put you on the right path for feeling better. Okay. If I haven't told you on reaching out yet, and you know that you're fighting that depression, and you're having some problems, the first thing that I can tell you, if you're not ready to take the step to reach out yet, is to start journaling or logging your feelings, your symptoms, your behaviors, how often you're feeling it, how, what you're seeing with yourself. Create a general log for yourself, okay? And if you're one that's experiencing depression and it's the kind that has you in bed all day, every day, set goals for yourself, like I'm going to get out of bed for an hour today, or I'm going to get out of bed for 3 hours, or whatever it may be. Or if you are having issues with sleep, set an alarm to make yourself aware that, oh, I need to go to bed, or hey, I need to wake up. If you're sitting there binge eating, just make a goal. I'm not going to eat but this, and this today, and really work at it, But I am telling you that if you'll reach out and get help with that, it'll make it so much easier. I know depression's hard, guys. I know that there's a lot to it. And we'll probably focus and talk about this multiple times. But I just want to, get on here and tell you a little bit about coping skill, or not coping skills, but depression. My next video is going to be about coping skills and how we work through that depression and what we need to do and to work on it and make it better. So, for now, guys, if you need anything, any questions, just reach out. I'm here for you at any time. So, thank you guys so much, and you guys have a great evening, great day, great weekend, whatever it may be when you watch this. Thank you. Bye.